Well, good morning, everybody. As people start to pour in, I always like when I hop into a webinar and somebody like just starts talking. It always feels weird when we just kind of sit here and look at each other. So I'll just start talking as people come in. Happy Wednesday, everybody. I can't believe it's May already. If you guys are anything like us here in Colorado, it like felt like winter. It snowed a week ago, and then it's been rainy, and now it's beautiful and sunny out. So that's just kind of what we get. But we're excited that we get to hang out with you guys today. Alicia, good morning. How are you?
Hello, Kevin. I'm happy to be here. The sun is shining. We're with our customers. School's almost out for the year.
Yeah, I'm learning now as a parent that why parents hated summer vacation all the time because now it's like planning camps I'm sure a lot of you can relate to that. So let's talk about ways that we can communicate because we always say that we want our webinars to be a conversation as much as possible, right? Of course, we've got a lot of stuff to talk about, but we want to hear from you guys too. So there's two ways that you can actually do that through Zoom, which I'm sure you're getting more and more familiar with. The chat option is number one. I see some people already starting to do that. Now, one tip when you open that chat is you're going to see a little blue bar right above where you're going to type to chat, and it automatically sets to only chatting with panelists, which is us. We love to see what you want to talk about, but we want everybody else to see it as well. So go ahead and open the chat, go ahead and select panelists and attendees, and I'm going to throw just a random question out there that I'm thinking of. What shows are you obsessed with right now? What TV shows are you just binge watching that you can't stop? Mostly because I need new ideas. I'm out of shows. So,
I now I have to wait for more Ted Lasso.
oh my gosh, I keep hearing about Ted Lasso and I have not watched it yet, but I've heard nothing but amazing things about it.
It's got so much heart, Kevin.
Okay. Okay. My wife and I caught up on like 4 seasons of This Is Us over the last month. So we're now waiting for actual live things to air. So hey, there's some more Ted Lasso love. Greg,
Ted Lasso in there. I see some Survivor. People still watch Survivor. That's amazing.
it's only been going on for like 19 years or something insane.
Okay, so while people are letting us know, we're just going to talk because we're still waiting for people to log in. But I am in my English class, my senior English class. This would have been the year 1999 or 2000, right around there.
Not to date us at all.
Yeah, exactly. We were reading Lord of the Flies, like you do in high school English.
Sure.
And our teacher brought an article about this upcoming reality show called Survivor. And we had this whole like discussion in class about this show because reality shows weren't even a real thing.
Yeah.
So I guess Survivor's been on for about 21 years.
Still a thing, and they're bringing back old people and new people. So
Yep.
man, I'm seeing a lot of good stuff. Derek wrote he likes to watch his own bomb videos.
That's
Nice.
a good show.
Well,
Good show.
well played, Derek. I appreciate that. So, well, we're excited you guys are here. The other option that you also have to communicate with us as well is the Q&A option. And I love to point that out for a couple of reasons. One, as you can see, chat gets pretty crazy when we've got a couple hundred people on these webinars. So we can lose things really quick and we don't want to miss the really important questions. However, it's also we have an amazing group of panelists here today. We've got Michelle and Aaron who are just going to be watching the Q&A and chat and trying to answer as many questions as they can. So if you've got something that you think is a really specific question that other people are going to benefit from or you don't want us to miss, pop open the Q&A and make sure you put that question in there because we always try to review that as well. Last little kind of housekeeping thing I want to give you guys a heads up on this webinar, and then I'm going to let Alicia kind of jump into the meat and potatoes of this is going to be a very strategic webinar. We're going to be talking a lot about high levels, ideas. Alicia was even joking this morning. People are always asking for when should I use it? I want to see examples. I want to see use cases, right? I want to see these sort of things. So that's what we're focusing on. We are not going to be diving into really technical aspects of this webinar or of BombBomb period in this webinar directly. We'll give you some resources that you can look up if you have questions about these things, but just want to kind of hit that up at the front so you guys know when we don't dive into how to use all these different aspects of the system, that's why, because we're really talking on kind of high level strategic ideas there. So with all of that said, and with also letting everybody know, you should have seen that we are recording this. We will be sending you the recording afterwards. So don't stress about that because I know we cover a lot of information on these webinars. Alicia, jump into this. What are we talking about today?
Awesome. Well, for those of you that don't know, I'm Alicia. This is Kevin. We do these every single month. What we're going to be talking about today is we're going to be talking about a human-centered approach. This is an idea that we've been talking about a lot at BombBomb. If you've been listening to Ethan's podcast, The Customer Experience, you may have heard this concept of a human-centered approach or human-centered communication, but we want to introduce it to you guys today because this is really why we do what we do. And then I'm going to talk to you about the 3 times video beats text. And then as we're going through these ideas, Kevin and I are going to be sharing with you some of the ideas of the ways that you can systematize it, make it part of your everyday, so that it's not just that you have this cool video tool that you use once or twice a month on these specific instances, but that you are actually communicating from a human-centered approach. So what does this idea of a human-centered approach really mean? And I think one of the best ways to set it up for you is this question: what does it feel like to work with you, right? We really have to start to think about the emotional aspect of our customers' experience when they work with you. Kevin and I have used this quote many times before from Maya Angelou that says, people will forget what you do, people will forget what you say, but people won't forget how you make them feel. Right? You think about companies that have really, really strong loyalty. Like I always think about Apple, right? Like that's one. Southwest Airlines has really, really strong loyalty, right?
It must be the heart logo, something. I don't know. They got us suckered in for sure.
But, if you actually look at their customer reviews and the way that people talk about them, people love Apple. The reason why people can sleep on a sidewalk waiting for a new phone isn't necessarily because of the technology, right? It's about the experience. It's about the way that people feel interacting with Apple. Any thoughts on this customer experience idea?
What's really, I think for me, as you're mentioning Apple, I think that's a perfect example of this, right? There are people that are so loyal to Apple that they will spend more on computers. They will spend more on phones. It's not about the physical product itself. Now, I think they've done a great job and built great products. Of course, I'm not going to argue that, but you start to look at their commercials and you look at the way that they present themselves to their clients, and it's always based around feeling, right? They may be talking about how there's a new camera on this new phone that's coming out, but how they don't present it as in like, look at this great new camera. It's what are you going to do with this? How does this camera going to change your life? What's it going to make you feel, right? And it really ties into kind of the emotional side of our buying decisions. Yep. I was thinking about that a lot too. Yeah.
Well, and I think one of the things that Apple has done really well is they've focused on our humanity, right? They don't produce commercials that necessarily talk, just like you said, about the technical aspects. They bring it into this human realm and this idea of what we're going to do with it. So, before, at the beginning of 2021, I did a search before I was building a session for a sales organization. And I did a quick Google search for sales trends for 2021. Okay, that was all I typed in, sales trends for 2021. If you guys want to do the same, if you don't believe my quotes here, you can go test it. But these were all headlines or quotes from articles. And it was only a couple of articles. I cited them at the bottom, but they're really light there. I guess I need to darken them. But these are the themes that popped up. I'm not going to read all of them, but I want you to take a look at the things that you're seeing on the screen. Obviously, we were very, very excited to see that video popped up in lots of places. But we also see all these really human-centered words like empathy over and over and over again. Building rapport and authentic relationships will become even more important. Kevin, how long have we been talking about building relationships?
Oh my gosh, the amount of times I've mentioned that in the last 5 years, I lost count a long time ago.
So it's over and over and over again. Not just is video a huge topic here in Sales Trends for 21, but this human element, fostering a human connection, brands demonstrating empathy. Well, this is human-centered, right? The reason why video pops up here is not because video is such a cool tech thing, but it's because it gives us an opportunity to get back to both communicating with our humanity, which is the first piece of human-centered communication, as well as the second piece is really recognizing the humanity in our recipient. So this idea of communicating with our humanity, I mean, this is what we do at BombBomb, right? We know that video gives you the ability to talk the way we normally would, with tonality and expression and all of that. It's faster, it's easier for people to understand. That's the reason why a lot of people do this, right? They know that they can communicate more effectively. But human-centered communication isn't just about leveraging your own humanity. Because, for example, if I decide that I'm just going to start sending a video for every single piece of communication that I'm going to send, that does not necessarily recognize the humanity of my recipient. People do not want to watch a video for every single email exchange back and forth. Would you agree with that one?
Oh, 100%. I think that's a really good point too, is I think sometimes when we're talking about being humane, it automatically means, well, I've got to be face-to-face more. I think there's kind of some assumptions that are put there. And I think that point that you bring up is so important. It's not necessarily that every communication is better face-to-face. Sometimes text email is really great, or a text message on your phone. If I just need a quick snippet of information, that is you understanding my humanity and going, I've got 3 kids running and crawling all over my house. I don't have time to watch a 5-minute video about whatever this piece of information is. Just send it to me. I'll look at it and we're good, right? And that's taking the time. What I think is so important about this slide, and why I love when you sent this over to me, Alicia, is because it's putting me as the one that's communicating and my recipient on an equal playing field. It's considering both of us in this communication that I think is what makes it more humane than anything else.
Yep. I love it. And that, just to kind of help you wrap your mind around this, for those of you that are like, okay, recognizing their humanity, communicating with my humanity. If you want to, for example, go over a contract for a client, and we're going to talk more about these themes, for you to open up the screen recorder and quickly go over the contract and show them all the things that they need to pay attention to, or where they need to sign, or where they need to initial. Well, that's way faster for you. You get to explain, right? You know that this is communicating with your humanity. But the other side of this is that this saves your recipient a ton of time. You probably saved them a lot of stress. You created a positive experience for them, because now, rather than getting a contract that has 35 pages that they have to go through and try and look for that yellow arrow of where to initial or where to click, you have saved them time and stress by communicating at a really high level. That's human-centered communication. You're using your humanity to communicate in the best way, and you're also recognizing the other person's humanity to provide value. So here's what your contacts will notice, or here's what your contacts won't notice that's actually happening, but it will happen. When you start communicating with your humanity and focusing on your recipient's humanity, they're going to feel a deeper emotional connection to you, and you are establishing a foundation of trust. And they won't even know it's happening, but it's happening. I talk a lot about the familiarity effect. This is a social psychology term that basically says the more exposure that someone has to a person, the easier it is for them to trust them. It's not the more exposure they have to your signature line in your email. The more exposure they have to you as a person, as your humanity, the easier it is for you to trust. So you're just building on that foundation of trust.
Well, and I think for all of you that are in here that are in sales, in whatever facet that may be, right? You're B2B, you're B2C, you're working in a company, you're doing your own company, and your own sales team is just you, right? It doesn't really matter. What's more important than trust? And I think what's really interesting about this too is, have you ever been on a sales call or been looking to buy something at a store and somebody looks at you and they're like, hey, don't even worry about it, just trust me? What's the first thing you do when somebody says that to you?
Don't trust them.
I immediately don't trust them, right? So we have to establish that trust in a way that's not like me begging you to trust me, right? And so I think that's a really interesting thought of, we want these effects. We want to build this, and relationship and emotions and all of that's going to build up that trust, but we don't want to beg somebody for it. We don't want to tell them to trust us, because that's going to have the opposite effect. So you have to have an interesting way. And all of this human connection, this humanity, are great ways to start to build that trust without really having to force it.
Well, it's hard to build trust with black text on a white screen. How many times have we said that? right? You can't build trust with that, but centering your communication on your humanity and their humanity gives you an opportunity for that. Okay, so we're going to get into the good stuff now. We're going to get into the actual strategic times when video beats text. Now, these are not use cases. Everyone always wants use cases, use cases. Give me examples. I want to see more examples. Here's the thing. Our customer base is really, really broad, okay? We have clients in so many industries, more than you would even imagine. We have clients using this. So I'm not going to give you guys 3 video example use cases today. These are going to be 3 psychological triggers that will always let you know that this is the perfect opportunity for a video. Okay. So the very first psychological trigger that always lets you know that this is a better time to send a video. A video performs better than plain text email or text message here is anytime you are establishing or building on a connection. I think the first piece here is the differentiation, right? Like actually, let's launch that poll. I forgot that we had a poll there. This is actually a perfect time for it. How many emails do you think you receive a day? Let's ask, before I jump into this, the differentiation pass, I want to hear from you guys. How many emails do you think you receive a day? This is a hot poll. People are excited to answer this one.
This is going crazy.
Sometimes our poll questions, people are really hesitant, but we're already at 53% and climbing.
I'm so glad you brought this up right now, Alicia, as we're jumping into like video versus text. Again, we're not saying get rid of all text, but I think it's good for us to have a baseline of, oh my gosh, how much text am I actually dealing with every day? Right? It gives us kind of a deeper level of why are we looking to find other opportunities for communication there.
So we're at about almost 70% here. I'm going to end the poll. Kevin, why don't you let them know what we saw here?
Yeah, so let's talk about this. I mean, to me, this is actually a little bit surprising. The majority of you guys, 57%, between 50 and 100 emails, right? I honestly expected it to be more of the 100 to 200 range, right? From just kind of the expectation. I know even if I only get 50 emails that day, it always feels like a lot, right? It always feels like I'm dealing with so much stuff. And you know what's, I think, more frustrating than anything, and I'm sure all of you can relate to this, is half of it's junk, right? I mean, half of the emails that I get on a daily basis are just select, delete. I don't even take a second to look at them. And that's why I think this is so frustrating, why I automatically feel like, oh my gosh, it's a heck of a lot more. Because it's just a nuisance. I don't, how many of you guys actually look forward to checking your email inbox every day? Alicia just cracks up. She just laughs, right? That's how I feel. I'm not excited about it anymore. So in that differentiating and that establishing and building on connections and those sort of things, how is Scott? I love Scott's chat. Ugh. Yeah, that's how I feel when I open my email every day. So the national averages, I believe, if I remember the number correctly, Alicia, is about 120 to 130 emails a day. Yeah. Is what the average person in America and North America experiences from an email perspective. So keep that in mind. That's a lot of stuff. That's a lot of junk as we're looking at how do we kind of counteract that feeling that people are having with their inboxes.
Yep. Well, and that's why this is so powerful. If you are trying to establish a connection with someone, right? How on earth do you filter yourself through all of the digital pollution that's in that inbox, right? You know, you take a couple of days off from work and you come back, and the amount of emails that you have, everyone wants something from you, right? Sign up for this, click here, sign up for this webinar, buy this. It's everyone is wanting your attention. When you send a video to establish a connection with someone, you are completely differentiating yourself from all of that other pollution in their inbox, right? Because again, you're centering your communication on your humanity and their humanity, right? If you are a sales professional and you can help them solve their problem, well, how on earth are they ever going to start to build the trust with you to understand that you can solve the problem if you look like 200 annoying emails, right? So go ahead.
You think from those email blasts, right? I'm going to even put a company out there. I bought my wife some awesome shoes from Madewell, a great clothing brand. I have gotten an email, at least 5 emails a week from them since I bought this pair of shoes. I love the brand. I'm all for it. I'm not talking crap about them at all. But are they really thinking about me when they're sending those emails?
Of course not.
No. They're trying to move product. They're trying to get numbers. They're trying to reach a certain amount of people. They're trying to show that we can achieve these KPIs, these different things.
Yep.
That's the difference between more of the one-to-one specific communication, bringing the humanity in and thinking about the recipient versus that kind of digital pollution that we're talking about here as well.
Yep. So again, when you are establishing a connection or you're building on the connection with someone, the video is a massive benefit because it's differentiating you from all of the other noise in the inbox, but then it also differentiates you from other sales professionals, right? It's just hands down. If I'm looking for insurance quotes and I email 3 insurance agents and one of them sends me a video back, who do you think got my attention? It's as simple as that. The other thing that I really want to point out here on when you're establishing or building on a connection, you want to lead with empathy and with humanity, right? This is not that first introduction video when you're establishing a connection. This is not your opportunity to talk about yourself for 2 minutes or 3 minutes, right? You want to lead with empathy, whatever it is, if you are in the lending industry, if you're a mortgage broker, saying, leading that conversation with, hey, I know that this can be an overwhelming process, right? You're leading with empathy. And then the last training point here real quick is just, you want to keep it short and to the point. We timestamp those videos. The likelihood of someone playing your video to give you a chance to differentiate yourself and introduce yourself and start to build trust. If that video is less than a minute, the likelihood that they're going to press play is dramatically higher than if you try and send them a 3-minute video. So I am going to show you an example. Okay. But this is just one example of using video to establish or build on a connection. Okay. Introductions, the first touch, great place to do it. Follow-ups after a phone call or a meeting, right? Because you're still building onto that connection. Appointment confirmations, again, you're building on the relationship. If you're confirming an appointment, they likely haven't signed a contract or said, yes, I want to work with you forever. Handoffs, right? We use this a lot in CS, don't we, Kevin? Mm-hmm. Of giving a chance for one person to hand a person to another one, but do it with a video so that they can help build the connection with the person they're handing off.
Well, for those of you that are on teams that have multiple people that will help a single client, this is a game changer. I mean, this is such a better way to streamline your process. So they're not like, well, who am I supposed to be emailing back now? Who do I reach back out to? That's not helping me feel very comfortable with what's going on, right? Especially in mortgage and real estate and all these different industries, financial that we work with. You guys have teams that support you. Yep. Let them know that all of these people are here to help you, and here's who you reach out to again. It's an awesome way to help with that process.
So I'm going to play this video. This is a lender. What I want you guys to pay attention to here is not necessarily the words he uses or script or anything like that. I want you to focus on how he centers her humanity in this video because he leads with empathy.
Hey, Shirley, it's Ty Star. I just left you a voicemail at your 423 phone number. I'm out here in Lake Oswego, and I just wanted to connect with you and just say hi. And like I said in the voicemail, you're getting a ton of phone calls. I know it's the nature of the beast with LendingTree, and you get a lot of area codes you don't recognize. But like I said in the voicemail, most Oregonians tend to like to.
Right? Like, what a way to really just shift it. It's not the, hey, I'm so great, come work with me, I'm different than the other guys. It was the, hey, I know that this can be overwhelming.
Well, an interesting point on that too that I was thinking of as the video was playing is connection is not just connecting with somebody, right? It's not just like, oh my gosh, they saw my email, they've emailed me back. How do you actually build a real connection? What is actually the definition of connection? It's actually finding something in common. He actually goes on, I know that video pretty well. So he goes on in that video to say, I live here, which is really close to where you live. So we probably go to a lot of the same places. That's building an actual human connection with the person. It's not, I think we start to think about connection when it comes to marketing and emailing is just, oh, they emailed me back, I've connected with them. Great. How do you actually build that deeper relationship and that deeper connection? I think it's important.
Yeah. I love it. I'm going to answer this question that I just saw before we keep going, because someone said, how does the video handoff require the introduced party to be in the same room? Is there a way to do it from different locations? Absolutely. There's 2 ways that you could do this. Okay. Number one, you can just have, introduce yourself or introduce the other person and then have them include a video as well. Or what we do a lot here is we use Zoom. So if you're in two different locations, you can start a Zoom call with yourself and the other person. Okay. You record that Zoom call, even if it's just, the 30 to 45-second video, and then you upload that into BombBomb, and now you have a split screen of two people in the exact same video. We do that all the time here at BombBomb. So that's another way to do it if you're not in the same place. So just some quick notes here on making video a part of your every single day. And like we said, this is not a technical webinar. We're talking about strategy. Okay. So if you have questions about, for example, the Chrome extension, we're going to throw some links in the chat there. You could also reach out to our support team. But some of the ways that you can really make this a part of your day to day is having that pre-recorded intro video, right? It's so great because it gives you an opportunity to use that in a moment's notice. If you are in the grocery store, for example, right? I would always encourage you that an introduction video is going to be way, way better if you can personalize it, but that's not always practical. So you absolutely can have a pre-recorded introduction video at a moment's notice that you can both use from the mobile app or from any of the other BombBomb things. Use the mobile app, guys. Don't overthink it. The amount of times that people tell me that they don't like to do videos if they're not in their office because they're worried that it doesn't look professional.
Honestly, the mobile, I've even seen too, Alicia, I don't know if you can relate to this as well. I almost see higher engagement on my mobile videos because it's different. Because it's not what people are used to from me. It's not what they're expecting to see in their email inbox. I mean, we talk about the tuned method of how to get more people to watch your videos more often. Something unexpected is one of those. Mobile app, me walking around on my street outside my house, or I'm huge on lists. I'm a list guy. So I love the mobile app because it gives me the opportunity of, I have the idea, the light bulb goes, I can act on it and not add more stuff to my list, not have to remember to do it when I get back to the office. So there's a lot of really cool benefits. Yeah, totally encourage that.
Well, and I mean, if you walk out of an appointment with someone, if you're having in-person appointments, I know some people are and some people aren't now, but if you walk out of an appointment with someone, you're still building into that relationship. So sending a quick video to follow up and say, hey, thank you so much for your time today. I so appreciate you taking the time, or whatever it is. This is really a powerful way to do it. You don't need to get back to your office. You're going to move past that if you wait. So just use the mobile app. Don't overthink it. Just record the video where you're at. This is going to help you make it part of your day-to-day and really build into those connections without feeling like you have to have it as part of like a drip campaign or, set up in your office or scripted.
Yeah.
Chrome extension, man. This makes it so easy. I do this on LinkedIn all the time. When people either send me a connection request and I want to introduce myself to them, I will use that Chrome extension and grab the video and pop it into LinkedIn. Same thing with Facebook Messenger. Facebook Messenger has a video option, but I don't like it because if you've ever tried to send a video on Facebook Messenger, you have to hold your finger down while it's recording. And as soon as you lift your thumb off of the record button, it sends the video. It doesn't let you re-record it. Ooh. So I know it scares me. So I prefer to use the Chrome extension for Facebook Messenger. But if you're making those first point of introductions, if you are building into relationships in places other than email and text message, the Chrome extension is there to help you. Last thing that I put on here to really make it a part of your day-to-day is follow up voicemails with a video. I do this pretty much almost every single voicemail I leave because I know that the under 40 crowd, we don't check our voicemails. There's some documentation behind it. So it's just another way for you to just communicate in a really human way. Hey, I just left you a voicemail, recap what the voicemail was. They may watch the video, they may not listen to the voicemail. So
it's a catch-22 with phone calls nowadays, right? Because we get so many spam calls now, right? More pollution that we're dealing with that I don't answer numbers I don't know. So if you're trying to reach out to me, I'm not expecting your call. I'm probably not going to answer it. I may or may not check that voicemail, right? But then if I get an email with a video, hey, I just called you from a 323 area code number. left you a voicemail. I just wanted to introduce myself so you knew that I wasn't just some other spam call, right?
Yep,
I would then
exactly.
go back and look for that voicemail. I would follow up on that if I had that and had some human context to it. So it's a great way to reach out to people and know that not everybody's going to respond on the same way in the same vein, right? Some people will respond to voicemails. Other people want emails. Other people want text. Other people want social media. Use all of these to your advantage and help them work together.
Well, and I think that's part of centering other people's humanity as well in our communication. Like human-centered communication means focusing on the recipient and their humanity. So if people would rather interact with you on Facebook Messenger or over text message, then interact with them there. I did see a question here in chat that I thought was a great question that I do want to address real quick was Rohan asked about how do you get people to play the video without thinking it's spam? And this is really important when we're talking about introductions, because if you're building into a relationship, if you're introducing yourself to someone that doesn't know you, you do want to make sure that they know it's a personal video for them. Best ways that you can make sure that they know it's a personal video. Well, you can use an app or a whiteboard. Let's see. It's already ready to go. Hi, Susan. Right? If I'm sending Susan a video and I do this at the beginning of the video, then she's going to know that this is a personal video for her. Couple other things that you want to make sure you do. You want to include a little bit of text with that video. Hi, Susan. I recorded a quick personal video to introduce myself to you. Press play and please, let me know when a good time for us to meet is, whatever it is. So you're putting text so that they know to play the video. If you use a whiteboard or an app at the beginning of the video to let them know it's personal, they're going to press play. They're not going to think it's spam. Okay. So great question there, Rohan, though. All right. So the second psychological trigger that will always let you know that a video is better than text is explaining complex information. Whew, this is one of my favorite uses of BombBomb, especially once we launched the screen recorder. Our customers have been so creative with how they're leveraging this. So a couple things on using video to go over complex information. Number one, we retain 95% of the information when we watch it in a video as compared to just 10% from reading it, okay? You want to talk about centering the recipient's humanity and focusing on them. Send a video anytime you need to explain something. When we're reading an explanation of something in text, we generally have to read it multiple times to understand everything because it's missing out on the richness of communication. So you have an incredible opportunity to make it really, really easy for the person to understand. Obviously, we talk faster than we type. So this is helpful for you. And then the third thing that I would say on this is that the explanation videos, when you're giving that explanation or you're going over a document or you're helping someone understand how to navigate through your website or their portal, those videos can be a little bit longer, right? I would tell you an introduction video, please don't make an introduction video longer than a minute, minute 3, minute 4 at the max. But if you're sending valuable information to a client to help them or to set up expectations, that video can be longer if you focus on value, okay? If you don't focus on value, if you don't lead with value in that 3 or 4 minute video, they're gone. They're gone before you even get to it.
I love some of these points you're thinking about. This is, I think, humanity at its finest, right? Thinking about how are people going to retain information, right? There's different learning styles for a reason, right? Visual, audio, kinesthetic. There's only so much we can do with kinesthetic, but if you send me just an audio recording, I'm going to retain so much less than that. That's just not how I process. In fact, even when I'm thinking, I look up and I look around for what's going on in my brain. That's how visual I am as a person. So if I can see that information, that helps me retain it. And guess what's really cool about this too? It saves you a ton of time. This saves you so much energy if you can convey this information really clearly the first time. Yep. So yes, again, considering both sides, we're considering our recipient and making sure this is a good experience for them. This will also help you a ton. The amount of feedback we've gotten over the years, Alicia, I'm sure you've gotten use cases I don't even know of people going, oh my gosh, using the screen recorder, conveying this information in a better way has saved me so much time in my day-to-day workflow. It's unbelievable. it really does help both ends. I love this idea.
So I threw just some of the ones that I could think of when I was building this, but you probably have more instances in your business where you have to explain information, but just we're going to highlight some of them here. Contracts and documents, product demos. We've seen people doing a really, really good job of that. I've even seen examples where a client missed it, or a prospect missed a demo, and the sales rep used the screen recorder to do like a quick truncated version of the demo and basically said, I understand how busy you are. Rather than reschedule the demo, why don't I just show you real quick some of the things I was going to show you, right? That is centering the other person's humanity. Website navigation. You can use the screen recorder for that. Customer education. Your customer service team can have a repository of videos explaining things to clients, training videos, setting expectations. This is a really, really good one, especially if you are in an industry that has been impacted by COVID. Sending that video to let them know what to expect that might be different from the last time that I have no idea what I was thinking, real estate, but whatever it is. Setting the expectations, going over presentations. You could use the screen recorder on a PowerPoint. I've done this before, right? Go over a presentation. Teachers. We have seen teachers and professors using the screen recorder to go over, their lesson plan or whatever it is. So there is so many use cases. Kevin, did I miss any that you could think of?
Oh man, I mean, I think you hit a lot of the most popular ones that we hear. There is not a bad strategy for using these. In fact, I've even seen people who wanted to show a video within their video, and they use our screen recorder to pull the video up, right? I mean, there's just so many different things. One question I have seen pop up in chat and Q&A, I think 2 or 3 times, is how do I change what my bubble looks like? Well, here's the reason you see some different shapes. We started when we launched our screen recorder with the circle, like the one you see on the screen now. And when Alicia plays this, you'll see what I mean even more. We actually adjusted that to it's more of a rectangle shape now because of your guys' feedback, honestly, from client feedback of going, I felt like there wasn't enough of me in my screen record. I'd like to have a little bit more room to move than what the little circle allowed. So for those of you that are just downloading our new screen recorder, you're going to have the rectangle. You're not going to have the option to change back to the circle. But just wanted to clarify why you might see some of those different shapes, as we started with one and then adjusted because of feedback we heard from you guys.
Great. I'm so glad you addressed that, Kevin. So I'm going to play this video. I'm not going to play the whole thing for you. But again, the second psychological trigger that lets you know that a video is always going to perform better than trying to explain something without it. Explaining complex information. This rep does a really, really great job of using the screen recorder to explain some digital information that he would never be able to do if he was trying to type it out in an email.
April, Jake Owsley with StoryBrand here. Hope you're so well. Super fun to chat with you very briefly. I know you had a ton of questions about your website and then specifically how you can use StoryBrand to help you clarify your message. I want to walk you through a little presentation that I think will be helpful for you. To start, I want to point you to a very vague message. We see a lot of websites that start with this, something that's pretty unclear, pretty vague. It's very hard to uncover what it is that they do. You have to burn a lot of calories to figure out what this brand is actually offering. Let's walk through 5 things that your website should include. The very first thing is a header.
So that you guys saw he was able to click through information. When you have the screen recorder pulled up, it'll record anything that's on your screen. Like Kevin said, we've even seen people use the screen recorder to show another video inside of their video. So lots of use cases there. But again, first psychological trigger, if you are establishing or building on a connection or relationship, video is always going to be better. The second one, if you are explaining complex information, videos are always going to be better. Just some tips here for making this a part of your day-to-day. Have a frequently asked questions library. I could not tell you what an incredible add to your business this will be. Couple things here. Number one, you probably have questions that you answer all the time. You have typed out this email many times. Maybe you've even made an email template for it. record a video for those frequently asked questions. This is going to save you tons of time. But again, this is focusing on what the experience of the customer is. This is something that clients are telling me is showing up in their reviews right now. That their clients are saying when they write reviews that they loved the video explanations of the process, or, you know, I loved the videos to answer my questions. I felt like they were going above and beyond. So this is going to, again, save you a ton of time, but this creates a really high level experience for your customers. The screen recorder is there. It is your friend. If you have questions about the screen recorder, if you haven't downloaded the screen recorder, it's a pretty easy download. And then once you download it one time, anytime you launch it, it's right there at your disposal, okay? Third training tip here on making this, the answering questions, explaining complex information part of your day-to-day, is I want you to get in the habit of asking yourself before you type out a long email, before you reply, right, to an email. Those email questions you get, that I couldn't find this, or what did you mean about this, or when are we getting this? Get in yourself the habit of asking yourself, would a video be better here? Right? Before you start to type out the email, if you're about to type out a big long email, ask yourself, would a video be better here?
I love the simplicity of this tip. It makes it so easy. In fact, I've even caught myself typing 3 paragraphs into an email, and then I go, what am I doing? I could have been done already if I would have just recorded a video, right? So if at any point you're trying to reply to somebody and you have to stop to think, what's the right way to say this? That's a great trigger for you to go, oh my gosh, I could probably just say this better, or I could show them. If only I could show them, right? If you have to ask yourself any of those questions, just start to train yourself that that's a trigger. I can record, and it's going to save me time. It's going to be better for them. It's going to be better across the board than them trying to read 5 paragraphs of information that hopefully I conveyed correctly, right?
Again,
So I just love the simplicity of this part.
well, and again, they're going to retain 95% of that explanation if you record the video, as opposed to them having to read the email a few times. Okay, so the third psychological trigger that lets you know that a video will always be better than a plain text email is when tone or emotion matters.
When does this matter? This doesn't ever matter, right?
Hey, Kevin, you ever sent or received a text message that someone misunderstood because tonality was lacking?
Oh, I've definitely received a text message that I misunderstood. I can tell you that for sure. And then been like, what's that supposed to mean? And then it starts this whole conversation, right? And that was never intended to be the way it was. Yes.
Yeah, this is the bottom point there, number 3, but this is so important. The amount of miscommunication that can happen when tone is lacking or facial expression, this is massive, but not even just for, the making sure they don't misunderstand you. Memories are built with emotion and information. If you want to be memorable, if you want your clients to remember you, they need to have the emotion piece there. It's really, really easy to forget someone that you don't have any emotional connection to. But when you have that emotional connection with someone, it changes the game. So it's not just for, making sure they don't misunderstand what you mean when you say, hey, why didn't you show up for our call today? Right? Something as simple as that. The difference between sending an email that says, you missed our call today, what's going on? Or is there something happening? If that person is having a bad day, which may be why they missed their call, that could feel like an aggressive message.
You know what? There's a perfect example of this. So my wife, I've talked to my wife and convinced her that using video is helpful for her. She has a design business that she runs. And she literally just had this happen, and I did get her permission that I'm allowed to tell this story. So I'm not going behind her back. She had an appointment with somebody. Through scheduling, missed the appointment, right? Exactly like what you were just saying a second ago, Alicia. Things happen, life happens, right? So she talks to the person, they reschedule it. Guess what? The second reschedule got put on the wrong day on her calendar. So she misses the second appointment with this same person. She was mortified, right? She's immediately going, I've just completely lost every opportunity. But because I bug her so much about doing this, she literally grabbed her phone, as she had dropped our son off at school, and she's like, I'm just going to record and send a video. And the video is literally just her going, I don't remember the client's name. She's going, I'm an idiot. I am so sorry. This is 100% on me. If you give me the opportunity to try and work with you again, I absolutely want to help in X, Y, and Z ways. This is not how I run my business. I am so sorry for the experience, right? You get all that emotion, you get all that tone. Guess what? And she sent it in a text message. She actually just texted it to the woman. She gets a text back minutes later that says, all's forgiven, no problem. When can we meet again? Like, just like that, right? That could have been a horrible situation where this lady's now speaking poorly about this business. And it was turned around so easily because she was able to understand a deeper context on that. So just a specific example I've seen in real life. And she's like, I'm so thankful that I was just able to do that. And I thought of it at that moment.
Well, you highlighted the very first point that I had here in that story, which is faces matter. Communicating with your face actually matters. There was a professor that did, Dr. Richard Weissman, he did this wallet study that I've talked about before, where he and his research team dropped wallets all over a city. The wallets were not the same. Some of the wallets had baby pictures in them. Some of the wallets had pictures of families, like, normal family pictures. Some of the wallets didn't have any pictures in them at all. The wallets that had baby pictures were returned 88% of the time. The wallets that had family photos were returned 48% of the time. The wallets that didn't have any pictures of human faces in them were only returned 15% of the time. So there's this, like, it's the human connection, right? When someone picked up a wallet and there was no humanity in it, it was easy to pocket the wallet. When someone found a wallet and they saw human faces in it, they connected with the humanity of the person and wanted to return the wallet. It's the same thing when you are communicating good or bad information, right? This isn't just for communicating bad information or when you've missed an appointment. This is also good news and thank yous, because that face matters. You want them to have that emotional connection when you're saying, thank you or happy birthday or welcome to the team. So I'm going to play this video for you. This was an internal example. This was someone on our team needing to try and figure out why a client was upset with us. But again, bad news. Good news, congratulations, right? You're out of escrow, or congratulations, you won a new car. I'm doing my
Ooh.
Bob Barker there.
I was going to say, a little Price is Right.
Thank you, right? Tone and emotion matters when you're saying thank you to someone. It's why if you've ever tried to type out a thank you email, you have to puff it up with a bunch of words and long sentences that you normally wouldn't, because if you just send an email that says, hey, thank you so much for your work on that, it sounds flippant. However, you press the record button and you say, hey, Kevin, I'm really, really grateful for how much you did on that. Thank you, man. That's all you have to do in a video.
You're welcome, Alicia.
Welcome to the team, right? This is another time when tone or emotion matters. Close the file. This is another one, right? I love this because, again, sales professionals, we don't have great reputations, okay? People don't like sales professionals. And sending the email, the should I close the file email, can be received really, really poorly if it's just a plain text email. If you send a video saying, hey, Kevin, I've been trying to get a hold of you for a few weeks. I don't know if the timing is just not right anymore, or if you've decided to go somewhere else. I totally understand. Just let me know so I can close your file so I stop, harassing you. There is a big difference because the tone and the emotion matters, okay? Same thing, missed appointment, he already addressed that. That's such a great one. So I'm gonna play this video for you. I'm not gonna play the whole thing, but I want you to understand and see here, tone and the emotion behind it matters.
Hey, Megan, we do hear you. We hear you. We take it very seriously that you are in such a place of frustration and disillusionment with us. Wherever we drop the ball, we want to pick that up and fix it. And so I'm here it could have been, maybe I dropped the ball and failed you as an onboarding trainer. I've got Erin here. I've included her in this email because she is more of a long-term kind of trainer and coach, and one that really is more involved in the lifetime journey of a customer. And so between the two of us, we just want to come alongside you, Megan, and correct any wrongs and help with some coaching.
You definitely get a sense of the actual intent there, right? So really, really powerful.
You feel that sincerity in that video, right? Of, oh gosh, another person with a problem versus no, we hate that you've had this experience with us and we want to correct that.
Yeah.
Totally different.
I'm seeing some stuff in the chat here that people are sharing ways that they're using videos. I guess Lisa, her leadership team has been sending them update videos, which, you know, they're still remote. So they're getting that emotion, the tonality, all of the context of what's happening there. So a couple of things to help you make this a part of your day today. When tone and emotion matters. Number one, you should automate or systemize things like your happy birthdays, purchase anniversaries, refi anniversaries, renewal dates for contracts and things like that. As much as you can, let your CRM do the heavy lifting here so that you can communicate with a video in places where the tone or emotion matters. Saying, you know, happy birthday, tone or emotion matters there. You can automate some of those and still have a really great human-centered video that you don't necessarily have to do in the moment. Get creative with the thumbnail, right? It's one of the things in the tuned method. But you saw Angie's video there. It said, Megan, we hear you. Well, that is a great way to let Megan know right out of the gate that she is being listened to and that this video is going to be an understanding of the situation that she's in. So, you know, use those thumbnails, use emotion. One of my favorite thumbnail examples is the one where Kyle actually sent out Steve Passanelli's cell phone number. Do you know this story, Kevin?
No, I don't.
So Kyle is one of our marketing guys, and he sent out a piece of marketing content with our CMO's personal cell phone number in it. And Kyle had to send a video to Steve apologizing, but the thumbnail is literally this. Right? He's using the thumbnail to communicate the emotion behind the video. So Steve knew what he was in for. Last training point that I want to leave on here with this, making it part of your day-to-day, is bring them along in the process, right? Recognize their humanity. Say, for example, if you're a lender, you maybe have done this 100 times in the last couple months. That client may not. So bring them along with you in that process. If you've run into a hiccup, it's okay to send a real quick video and say, you know, hey, I know I told you we were going to have those documents to you later today, but we ran into a problem. Look for them tomorrow morning. Just wanted to keep you updated, right? You are recognizing their humanity by bringing them along in the process. And that's really, really going to benefit you. Same thing with the good news, right? When things are going well, communicate that with emotion. Memories are a combination of information and emotion. If you want your clients to remember what an incredible experience it was to work with you, bring them along in the process. When you're excited about something that just, you know, happened, or that you're, you know, able to move them to a certain product, or maybe a deal that they just became available to them, right? Bring them along with it. Communicate with your humanity. It's going to really help them remember what it was like to work with you, which is what I started with, right?
They're probably getting really sick of us saying humanity, humanity, humanity. I don't know if you've seen a theme in this webinar. Be people, right? This is another thing we talk about with that your videos don't need to be perfect, right? Brene Brown mentions in one of her books that what people actually enjoy about other people is their humanity, is their realness, are their imperfections, their vulnerabilities, right? We don't watch the 5 o'clock news and go, I love that news anchor, I can't wait to get to know them more. No, because they're like polished, the makeup, the hair, the lighting, the scripting. We want real people. So allow yourself that. Somebody mentioned in chat a little bit ago that, you know, it is easier for us because we work with BombBomb. We do videos every day. There is an aspect of that for sure, right? I mean, Alicia, I don't know how many you've got. I've got over 8,000 videos in my account. When you do something 8,000 times, you get a heck of a lot more comfortable with it, right? But allow yourself that permission to know that the perfection is not really what helps your videos win. It's the people seeing you, it's seeing who you really are and getting to know you as a person. That's what they're going to connect with. That's what builds that relationship. That's what builds that trust. That's what help you, actually realize, is this something that's going to make sense in our business to move forward with, to keep working? That's how people make those decisions. So give yourself that permission as well.
Yeah. I did love it. I saw that comment in the chat. Remember that you worked for BombBomb. You do this all the time. We don't. But I loved, another client commented under there that it took them some time, but now they've gotten to the place where it's faster to record the video, which is what a lot of our customers would tell us, right? And that's why I want to encourage you to make these a part of your day-to-day. Make some of these a part of your day-to-day, because the more you do it, the easier it's going to get. The more that you, as soon as you get off of that sales call or you leave that meeting, and you make it a habit to pull out your phone and say, hey, Tom, thank you so much for your time today. I so appreciate you being willing to go over whatever it is you talked about in your meeting, right? So it really is, the more you do it, the easier it gets. Repetition builds confidence. It gets faster. And maybe you're not using BombBomb in the right place for you as well. I would encourage you, if you feel like sending your videos out is this whole big process, you might not be using it in the right place or the right way, right? Like if you're trying to, upload a contact into your BombBomb platform and then go to the platform and all of that, that's going to take a lot of time out of your day-to-day. Use the mobile app. Use the Chrome extension, use the Gmail or the Outlook extension. These are there to make it really, really fast for you.
Yeah.
So we do want to take time for questions. We do have a few minutes here. Just to recap for you guys, these are the 3 times that video is always going to be better than text. These are psychological triggers to let you know, oh, I should do a video here. If you are establishing or building on a connection, if you are explaining complex information, or if tone or emotion matters. Those are all 3 times when video is going to be better, okay? Here's your homework, okay? Check out our BombBomb use case library. This is brand new. If you were hoping to see more examples and you were disappointed, guess what? All of the examples you could possibly want are there in the use case library. We actually break them down by role, I believe, in the use case library. So go to the use case library and check it out. They are, again, segmented out by role, I believe. But when you're looking at those use cases, I want you to be cognizant of these 3 psychological triggers, right? The building a connection, the explaining complex information or tone or emotion matters. And then your second piece of homework is I want you to record a video for one of your most frequently asked questions. But I also want you to title that video so that the next time someone asks you a question, you can find it super easily on your mobile app, in your Chrome extension, wherever it is that you send videos, okay? This is your homework. Check out the use case library and record a frequently asked question video. Any questions popping up there?
Aaron and Michelle have been killing it. Hope we've been trying to answer some stuff live too, but they have been on top of the Q&A and chat as much as we possibly down, or as much as things are coming up. So that is awesome. Guys, we appreciate you. We know we go over a lot of information in these webinars, right? An hour seems like a long period of time, but we try to pack as much value into these as we possibly can. So we understand that we do go over things a little bit quicker. You're going to get the recording. You're going to get a follow-up email with some of the details and some of the information we go over on this. So don't stress if you missed any part of this. That's okay. We'll make sure that you have that in an email coming up as well.
So a couple questions here. Lorraine wants to know, is it okay to do a generic FAQ video and add it to an email? Yes, that is exactly what I want you to do. I want you to record a frequently asked question video that is not personal to a person. I want you to just record it answering the question, however you want, however you're answering the question, record the video answering the question without saying a person's name in it, and then you can use it over and over and over and over again. James wanted to know, is there an option to limit the number of days we want the video to be available? No. However, because these videos are all web hosted, once you delete the video, someone can't watch it anymore. I don't know why you would want to limit the amount of days. However, the best way to do it would be if you only want someone to be able to watch the video for 5 days, when the 5 days are up, if you just go into your account and delete the video, they won't be able to watch it anymore, because they're web hosted. Once it's gone, it's gone. Where can we find older training videos? Such a great question. If you go to bombbomb.com/webinar, it'll have all of our previous client webinars on there, as well as you can register for our upcoming one. This webinar will end up there on the replay. So you can always go check out our past training sessions. Also, we have a few different resources other than the use case library that are wildly helpful. The BombBomb Academy is one of them. Kevin, why don't you tell them about the BombBomb Academy? Because that's
BombBomb Academy is it's a really cool resource for those of you that want to spend a little bit more time on each of the details. The Academy is built to be on demand for you. So it's an actual course. We have a handful of different courses up there that you can go through and pick, this is what I want to learn. And you can walk yourself through in your own time. It's not an hour of us driving the ship. You get to control how fast you go through that. There's little fun homework assignments and quizzes, and there's lots of videos that you can watch on there. So I absolutely encourage it. We've got courses up there all about branding, right? If you're working on your branding, how do I bring and combine BombBomb into that, right? How do I be as effective with my time as possible? How do I prioritize on a daily basis? Or I know a lot of people have questions about engagement. We've got a course about email engagement, video engagement, right? There's different courses so you can get really granular and focus on some of those sort of things. So it's a great resource. You can find that within your account. If you log into your BombBomb account and hover over your name in the top right corner, a little drop down menu comes up and you'll see BombBomb Academy in there. So you can click on that and access any of those sort of things. So there's some great ways to learn through some stuff and kind of do it on your own time. I'd even throw our support site. I know we talk about this a lot, but we've recently worked on trying to make this as world-class of a site as we can. There are videos on almost every article in this support site. So if you want to go watch a 4-minute video just about this topic, go search for that. Go look on that support website, and then it's all typed out and written below the videos as well. So no matter how you learn, no matter how you're going to be able to retain that information, we want you guys to have access to a lot of that information as well.
Yep, it's such a good resource. So there's a couple questions that popped up in chat that I think are great. Marie wanted to know the FAQ video. How long should it be? Depends on how long the explanation to the question is. So like I said, that if you are explaining information, if you are answering a question, those videos can be longer as long as it's value focused. You could record a 4-minute video answering a question as long as it's really value driven and you're giving that information in there. So, I mean, with BombBomb, you can record a video up to 45 minutes in length, but that's probably not the best way to answer a question. Another great question here. Troy wanted to know with the Gmail integration, can you put multiple videos in the same email? Which you absolutely can, but this would be my suggestion, Troy, okay? Only have one video as the big thumbnail. And then I would grab links from your Chrome extension for the other videos. Because if you have an email that has a whole bunch of big video thumbnails in it, it's going to be clunky for the person to read. It's going to be really hard for them to figure out where, what video they should pay attention to. But if you keep one video big front and center at the top of the email, and then you put in the links for the other and just reference, I put a video here that answers some of our most frequently asked questions. I would suggest putting links for the rest of the videos and let one video be the big GIF thumbnail.
I think we've covered pretty much everything here, Alicia. We are a couple of minutes over the hour. So thank you all so much. I know a handful of people have already chatted in. Oh, I've got to run to another meeting. I've got to do that. We appreciate you all so much. We love this time every month. We love that you guys come excited, ready to learn, with great comments, great suggestions. We love the community around these webinars as well, which is really, really fun to see. So keep your eyes open for the email that'll be coming in the next few days for you with the recaps, with the recordings, all of those sort of pieces. Do not hesitate to reach out to us, support@bombbomb.com. If you need to send in an actual question, technical or not, support.bombbomb.com is our support website, to mention that again. But we appreciate you all. Have a wonderful rest of your Wednesday, and get out there and start recording those frequently asked question videos. Get one of those, get it into place so that you can use it when that comes up. Bye, everybody. Thank you.